When would the mine come in?
Well, that's been an interesting question everyone asked. And of course, no one knows. We don't know when that mine will come in. Bishop Coyle said that it would come in at a time when there'd be 3-inch headlines on a newspaper. And down at the bottom of the page, there'd be a small little notice that the Dream Mine made its first shipment of ore.
Welcome to the quiet foothills of the Wasatch Mountains in Utah. Today I will be exploring the history of an elusive mine that has captivated the imaginations of many for over a century. This is the Dream Mine of Utah, sometimes also referred to as the Relief Mine. A mine created after one man's spiritual vision promised him riches beneath the ground. Join me as I explore the mystery hidden within these hills. The story of the Dream Mine begins in 1864 with the birth of its founder, John Hiram Coyle. Coyle was born in the small town of Spanish Fork, Utah, and was a farmer by trade, deeply rooted in his faith and community. He lived a simple life, cultivating the land and raising a family with his wife, Emily Arvia Holt. John Coyle's early dreams about lost livestock and other mundane matters gradually evolved into prophetic visions about global events as he grew older. The prophecies that Coyle would claim to see quickly garnered him a reputation within his local community as a visionary, with a gift for being able to see the future. Coyle's spiritual journey took a pivotal turn in August of 1894, when he experienced the most impactful vision of his life. He claimed that an angelic figure had guided him to a mountain east of his home and revealed to him the treasures that lied beneath the surface. In this vision, Coyle had received specific instructions on how to proceed with building the mine to reach these treasures. He was shown sophisticated mining techniques and the exact location of rich ore bodies underground by the angelic visitor. He believed that these rich ore bodies were meant to benefit his community. Inspired by this vision, Coyle eventually established the Coyle Mining Company in 1909. With the support of over 100 investors, he set out to transform this vision into a reality. 114,000 shares at $1 each were issued to fund the mining operation. Response within the community was mixed, with some believing in his prophetic gifts and others being skeptical. But his followers continued to believe in him, especially after allegedly predicting the First World War and the economic crash of 1929. As the mine began to develop, it slowly began to attract the attention of higher church authorities within the Mormon Church. Although Coyle himself was a dedicated member of the church and even served as a bishop at one point, his increasingly bold and public revelations and visions began to raise alarm within the church. The Mormon Church was at a crossroads, trying to balance their own traditional beliefs with the need to integrate into broader American society. Coyle's claims and actions were seen as a more extreme earlier version of Mormonism that the church was trying to move away from at the time. Apostle James E. Talmage, a geologist and prominent church leader, was dispatched by the church to inspect the Dream Mine. He found no scientific evidence that the mine contained valuable ores, and his report back to the church headquarters was a turning point in the church's dealings with Coyle. In response to these findings, the church issued official statements warning members against investing in the mine. Despite the church's official stance, Coyle continued to find support among a significant number of church members.
Well, the bishop didn't know exactly when the mine would come in, except Bishop Coyle did see that a certain number of conditions would exist at that time. He said that the Mormon Church would build a high-rise building in the very heart of New York City, and the mine would come in sometime after that. It would come in when there'd be weather pattern changes far to the southwest that would every year move further north until finally it got to Utah. And it would be about the time following the 12th president of the church. There'd be a lot of wars throughout the nations. There'd be drought. Many things would be happening.
With the Dream Mine finally fully established, it began its operations. Despite high hopes within its investors, tangible results in terms of valuable ore were elusive. As the years passed, the mine failed to produce the promised gold, and the financial strain began to wear on even the most faithful of Coyle's followers. By the late 1940s, the mine reached a critical point. In 1947, John Coyle was brought before a church disciplinary council and was made to deny the visions that had made him start the Dream Mine project so many years ago. Supporter morale and financial backing took a nosedive after this. In a desperate attempt to stop the bleeding, Coyle reversed his stance and claimed his visions to be true once again. This reversal led to his exile from the Mormon Church, a devastating blow that marked the beginning of the end for both Coyle and the Dream Mine. John H. Coyle died in May 1949, just over a year after being banned from the Mormon Church. His death sealed the fate for the Dream Mine. Operations continued sporadically under new leadership, but without Coyle's visionary guidance, the mine slowly faded from public consciousness. After Coyle's death, the leadership of the mine was taken over by the Relief Mine Company, founded by followers who still believed in Coyle's vision. Despite the lack of results, the company continues to perform the necessary amount of annual work to maintain the mining claims. A small amount of work is done every year in order to keep the mining claims active, as required by Utah mining laws. The spirit of Coyle's vision lives on to this day. As the mine stands silently watching over the Utah landscape, the belief in one day striking the promised treasures continues. For some people, it's a symbol of something greater than gold or any type of valuable ore deposits. For some people, it's a representation of belief itself.